Okay, we're gonna go ahead. All right, so we are gonna go ahead and get started. My name is Lacey and I'll be moderating this evening. So I am gonna go ahead and have Dr. Trevor from Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated give the welcome.
Well, in days of technology, it sure does take a long time for me to unmute, even though I've been using it a lot. So good evening, everyone. Greetings. I am Trevor Jeffries, president of Zeta Alpha Omega, chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And we are so excited to have you join us this evening for this event. It is so important for us to support entrepreneurship and our Black businesses. And this is one area that our sorority, as well as all of the collaborating organizations that we have on this evening, truly take pride in. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the stories that our entrepreneurs have for you this evening. Have a great one.
Thank you so much, Dr. Trevor. We appreciate that warm and exciting welcome. We are going to go ahead and have Miss Patty Poston, give the logistics. So Miss Patty, I'm going to transfer over to you.
All right, thank you. I'm Patty Poston, president of the Mommy Bay Club of the National Association of Negro Business and Professional Women's Clubs Incorporated. And I too am excited about these entrepreneurs who are sharing with us this evening. Some I'm aware of, some not so much. So it'll be very nice to get a perspective of our Black businesses in the area, and also for us to find ways to help to support them. Our logistics tonight, just wanted to remind everyone that this presentation is in webinar form. So our panelists will be on screen, but the guest will not be. So if you have any questions, we ask that you would type them in the chat, and at a portion of that, Jackie Quinn is our moderator for the questions. She will ask the questions as you enter them there when the time permits. Also, I would like to remind everyone that you should have received a welcome package. And in that welcome package, it has the agenda as well as the information about our panelists and about the collaborative organizations who came together for this event. And at the very end of this program, our Alexi Collins will be putting a link to an evaluation. We do ask that everyone participate in the evaluation. It helps us as we prepare for doing future programs. So again, thank you and hope you enjoy this presentation.
Thank you so much, Miss Patty. We appreciate those logistics from you. So we're going to go ahead and get the purpose today from Miss Denise Black-Poon.
Hi, I am Denise Black-Poon with Top Layers of Distinction, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and Negro Business and Professional Women's Club. These collaborating organizations are truly happy to have each of you with us today. We provide leadership training for businesses and professionals and prepare them for leadership positions in their career. We also provide entrepreneurial training for women interested in starting a business, improving business skills, and or expanding their existing businesses by increasing their business expertise. Leadership and entrepreneurship are only two of the many programs that our collaboration team have prepared for you today with this panel discussion. An entrepreneur is a person who is able to receive the opportunity for a business and creates an organization and develops it and manage it successfully. They organize, they resume the risk of the business. They are confident, open-minded, disciplined, determined, very creative, and have passion. They are competitive. They are strong work people with strong ethics, And also leadership possesses the same qualities as this. Our mission is to promote and protect the interests of African-American businesses and professional women and men, and to serve as a bridge for young people seeking to enter business and professionals, to improve the quality of life in local and global communities, and to foster fellowship. We continue to try to do our best to help the African-American businesses and the leaders today, as well as create a pathway for our youth, for they are our future. There are 2 million Black-owned businesses in the United States. And as we look at 58% of Black business owners said that finance is hard or at risk, sometimes distress, especially during the time of COVID and COVID-19. We will see how these businesses survived. Black-owned businesses generate over $150.2 million in gross revenues every year. 1% of the Black-owned businesses obtain business loans during their first year. The average level starts about $35,000 just to get started for their business. Our collaborating organization is the Adult and Youth Clubs of the National Association of Negro Business and Professional Women's Club, Toledo Club, Mommy Bay Club, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Zeta Alpha Omega Chapter, Top Ladies of Distinction, and Top Teens. The Toledo chapter of the National Sorority of Phi Delta Kappa Sorority, Beta Gamma Chapter, and the YWCA of Northwest Ohio. Today, we have 6 panelists who are highly respected African-American leaders and entrepreneurs in the Toledo community who will share their role that they play each day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Denise. We're going to go ahead and move forward with the introduction of the panelists and some bios from Ms. Lexi Collins.
Here I am, also the mute specialist. But anyway, can you all hear me? Thank you. So one thing I want to do, because what we did not do was also do a bio on our moderator. And I just really want to introduce you truly to Lacey Horn and tell you about her. Lacey, our moderator for today, is a 24-year-old Toledo native. She has a passion for writing. She graduated from the University of Toledo in May of 2020 with her Bachelor of Arts and Letters in Media Communication, minoring in Africana Studies. And she also is a member of the illustrious Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And she started out and she was initiated through the Alpha Lambda chapter, and now she is a member of our graduate chapter, Zeta Alpha Omega. And so she is a part of the ZAO's leadership. She serves as the Target 3 chair of Target 3 is Building Your Economic Legacy Committee. And she is also the editorial columnist for the Stalwart magazine. And she writes the cover stories and interviews executives, entrepreneurs, judges, and more. And so the Stalwart, if you don't know, the Stalwart magazine is a Toledo-based magazine whose focus is highlighting great people in our community. And so she enjoys creating writing, as well as hopes that her writing will educate, inform, and inspire. And so that is about our moderator for today, just so that you have that information and know. And Lacey, did you want to talk anything about what you do?
I'm just like you said, I'm very passionate about writing. I love to write for publications. I love to write creatively. My healing is in my poetry. So I'm really excited to be here with you all. And that is me in a nutshell.
Thank you. So now I will introduce our next panelist. She is Stephanie D. Kennard. Stephanie Kennard is the founder and CEO of Kennard's Child Development Center, LLC, which is a child development center that offers childcare to children ages 6 weeks old through 13 years old. Kennard's Child Development Center is an organization committed to developing the minds of children and building their character and strengthening families. Stephanie opened that facility in February of 2001 with the desire to offer the Toledo community a new and better choice for early child care education, and to provide families with a quality environment and quality experiences for all children while their parents are working or going to school. Stephanie has been recognized by the YWCA Child Care Resource and Referral Agency of Northwest Ohio as a provider for participating in the Step Up to Quality program. Participating programs earn a 1 through 5 star rating, meeting Ohio's quality program standards. And her child care development center is currently rated with 5 stars. 5 stars. Ms. Kennard received her Master's of Education from Findlay University in May of 2019, and her Bachelor's in Communications from Wilberforce University in 2001. And she received her early childhood education, her early childhood center director's certificate from Owens in 2004. Stephanie is also a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and is a member of the National Association of Negro Professional Women's Club Incorporated. And she's also an active member of the Worship Center Church, where she serves as the director of the King's Kids Youth Ministry. She's the wife of Clyde Kennard, who we'll hear from in a moment too, another Wilberforce alum, but they have been married for 20 years and have 2 children together, Carrington 18 and Christian 13. Stephanie's business motto is develop mind, build character, and strengthen families. And her mission in life is to love God, love people, and to always serve both. And this is the most impressive bio. And so welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you, Lexi.
So if you could talk about your entrepreneur journey, where it has brought you and where it is taking you.
Well, Lexi, you read the bio, you pretty much summed it up. The Development Center has been open for 20 years. And my goal is to develop the children, their character, along with strengthening their families, as our motto says. And basically, that's my job, to teach the children. They are our future, and to, just develop them as a whole. And not only is love God, love people, serve both my motto, but that's our family motto. So you'll see that in both of our bios. So that is something the Kennard family stands strong to, is to love God first and then to love people. What is the world without people? We can't live in this world alone. So you might as well just love everyone, forgive and love. So that's pretty much Kennard's Child Development Center. I'll look forward to answering some questions that are in the chat today. But other than that, that's it for now.
Thank you. All right, so that now let's talk about you, Clyde. Clyde Kennard is a Toledo, Ohio native entrepreneur who has over 23 years of business marketing and sales experience with various industries. Clyde graduated with a bachelor's of science in business marketing from the HBCU Wilberforce University and started his career in business marketing and professional sales with Eli Lilly and Company as a pharmaceutical sales representative. For over 9 years in the pharmaceutical industry, he has helped influence the prescribing habits of physicians, nurses, and medical practitioners in the territories that he managed. He also worked as a registered financial representative for MetLife Financial Services and Nationwide Financial Group. So Clyde and his wife, their first entrepreneurial endeavor started 18 years ago with the founding of Kennard's Child Development Center and an educational based center and that we talked about. And so in keeping with his passion of educating and enriching the lives of young people, he also created Camp SWAG, SWAG, Students Who Achieve Greatness, which is a summer academic and enrichment camp for students and children who are grades K through 8. In 2011, Mr. Kennard formed Mr. Kennard Enterprises, LLC, which is the parent company that holds all of his businesses and entrepreneurial endeavors, which include business and educational consulting, construction, building, and maintenance services, as well as lawn and landscaping. He is a super entrepreneur. And his goal is to offer great service and add value to each of his clients. So, Mr. Kennard, can you please speak on your entrepreneurial explorations and company consultations, everything? If you could speak on those, that would be great.
Just real briefly, thank you for having us or having me on here along with my beautiful wife. I've been an entrepreneur since age 5. I started sweeping up hair and cleaning ashtrays at Mixed Company Beauty Salon. And that was my first entrepreneurial endeavor where I began to run errands for the clients who were getting their hair done. So I learned at a very early age, if you have really good service, you treat people nice, and you are consistent, that there's a great deal of success that can happen if you just, stay true to that. But moving on, I've also cut hair, not as a licensed barber, but that was kind of my side hustle from age 11 up until now. But I just like to work. I like to make a difference. And Kennard Enterprises was formed because I knew that I didn't want to be a pharmaceutical sales rep all of my life. I was good at it, but that wasn't where my passion was. My passion was working with people, and I still didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. But being kind of handy and having a lot of ideas in my head, God just put the vision in my mind and in my heart to just go serve people, do what needs to be done. So it's really, really important that no matter what it is that I say, no matter what it is that I'm doing, I want to give it my best. I want to make sure that I'm offering value, not only myself, but my staff, my other contractors that work with us. I believe that everybody's a part of a team, and you can get more done when you work together than you do individually. But my whole motto, personal and professional, is like my wife said, to love God, love his people, and to serve both. That's really what I'm here to do, is give service. And I think if that is what your heart and your passion is, then God will open up doors and opportunities that will allow you to walk out your purpose. Thank you.
Thank you. That is very inspirational. So inspirational. Thank you for that. And thank you for all that you do for the community. And we need more people to do that. And I'm sure we will have more questions for you and for Ms. Kennard in Mrs. Kennard in the end. So moving along, our next entrepreneur is Tamiko Kiner. She's the owner of A Cultivated Beauty. And so Maine, and not Maine, M-I-N, my M-A-I-N, but Maine as in M-A-N-E, Medic Hair Rejuvenation, is the premier provider of treatment, prevention, and management programs for those who care about their appearance and are experiencing hair loss. Her affordable, private, convenient, and personalized approach provides her clients with an experience that leaves them feeling more educated, comfortable, attractive, and confident in themselves. They offer hair styling, hair extensions, undetectable hair systems, hair care and scalp analysis, and treatment consultation services, as well as retail hair extensions and other various home maintenance products and tools for fashion and health, for hair and nails within her salon, which is called A Cultivated Beauty. The salon also offers nails and skincare with licensed independent contractors in the beauty industry, where we all strive to stay energized and educated in the profession, to motivate, empower each other, and to grow. And so their goal is to, grow their individual brands and their businesses all under one salon group. So, Tamiko, can you talk more about your business and what you do and the services that you offer the community?
Thank you for having me today. I've been a hairstylist for 24 years. Decided to take a leap of faith and open up my own salon. And I am the owner of Maine Medic, a cultivated beauty and HBT hair collection. Basically, I would like to say, a lot of times hairstylists just do hair, and I want to always put out there that there's more to it than standing behind that chair. A lot of times for myself, building my business, I had to learn everything on my own, had to bump my head. And part of the reason why I wanted to own a salon is to help young hairstylists be able to build their brand, be a boss in their own profession, and learn from me so they don't have to bump their heads. So I always want to say, be obsessed with your entrepreneurial journey and, be passionate about it, and just reach out for information, and that's it.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Our next entrepreneur is Tyra L. Smith. She is the president and CEO of Pathway for Successful Leadership Incorporated. And she is a lifetime entrepreneur, as most other people have said that they are. You know, I think it starts early and when you're young to be an entrepreneur, which is wonderful. But Tyra is a lifelong entrepreneur, and she is uh, over proud owner and head cook for the West End dinner, and also for the Pathway for Successful Leadership Incorporated. She also, after finding her second degree, finishing her second degree, she took on her journey into the medical field, permanently working at, Riverside Hospital and Emergency and Arbors of Toledo until they closed. And so, when she found that happening, she then went with 10 others and owners to open the Kingston Care Center of Sylvania. And 5 years into her journey at Kingston, she was asked to join the health department in Holland. But as a volunteer of working with students during and after school hours, she saw a need for school and parents and administrators and youth that was not being met. And so what she did after long meetings, she founded Pathway for Successful Leadership Incorporated, which is a nonprofit company that's focused on creating positive programming for youth aged 3 years to 36 years. And so she's been the founder of that program for 15 years. And so and she is also, might I say, the illustrious president of the National Association of Negro Business Professional Women's Club Incorporated. So I will turn it over to you now, Ms. Tyra Smith, to talk about your endeavors.
Thank you, Ms. Collins. And so, you know what, I want to say, as I have been putting in the chat, congratulations to all of the actual panelists on your endeavors in life. It's not easy being an entrepreneur, and it's not easy actually being a leader toward people who who don't want to be led. Leadership starts with 3 different words, and that's leadership. You can't be a leader without being led and knowing how. I am a believer with you, Miss Tamiko, when you said that you had to bump your head a couple of times. I understand, I totally do. In order for me to have the 56 employees that I do have now, I had to learn all of their jobs in order to hire them to teach them how to do it. So I get it, I really do. And while Miss Collins was reading my bio, as you would see, I was comfortable in my medical field, very comfortable working 3 days and vacation and rest. I promise I was. But when God speaks to you, I was disobedient for 5 years. I didn't want to do it. And the principals was calling, Miss Smith, you volunteering, they're doing this, they're doing that. So I didn't go to school for that. That's not what I want to do. And it took my grandfather to say to me one year when Dr. Barnett called me, and he said, we have parents and students that want to talk to you. And I was still saying, so I had just finished coaching track. And Dr. Jeffries can tell you that as well, because of the same year she called me and said, I just made you back the head coach. And I was just like, really? So I went back in to teach track. But what my grandfather said to me, and I had 3 people that said some things to me, once you keep the wise around you and you have been born and raised in the church, that actually happened. Yes, you did. It actually comes back around when they start speaking to you when you are mature enough to understand what the Bible verses mean. And so therefore, when I was being disobedient toward what people were asking, when I got off the phone with Dr. Barnett, he said, well, baby girl, what's wrong? I said, well, he asked me to come play with these kids and I don't want to do that. That's not what I went to school to do. And so, and at the time, my two sons and my husband and I was traveling a lot because they were baseball players. You know, they're 28 and 24 now, but they were baseball players and we traveled a lot. And so I didn't want to do it. And so he said, I'll tell you this. He said, God allowed you to do what you felt you wanted to be here for. It's time for you to do what he wake you up every day for. And so I went back, and that right there allowed me to then be led, because I didn't know what they did in the educational realm. All I knew is that I graduated a couple of times. And I was able to listen along with the experiences that I had while being a coach and while listening to the young ladies and the young men and the teachers and the principals and administrations in the schools, and saying, okay, Lord, if this is for you and by you, keep creating me in order to give. And so that created Pathway for Successful Leadership, 26 programs later, and we're in 2 different districts, 28 different schools. We're in Cincinnati and Toledo. And so our programs are very, very well established. We have not yet, and this is how you know it's for God, we have not went for grants yet. We have sustained, and I have sustained all of my employees on contracts only because it's a need. And right now we have a waiting list for our programs. And so God is good. And so at this time, I will stop with that. And if I'll answer some Q&A when we get done with Ms. Taylor.
Thank you so much, Tyra. And that is, thank you for even elaborating on what led you to even want to do what you did. And hopefully we will be able to even ask others, you know, what made them want to become entrepreneurs, because there is something that led each and every person to this path. And is something that we would like to know. So thank you for that. And next, I would like to introduce the wonderful Crystal Taylor, MBA and President and CEO of Crystal Clear Communications. Crystal is an aggressive problem solver, and she is dedicated to finishing what she starts. She is a well-rounded producer and administrator with 20 plus years of management and marketing experience in higher education and the public sector. Crystal launched Crystal Clear Communications in 2016 and has been growing and refining her strategies to help entrepreneurs and nonprofits. She focuses her efforts on helping them scale and provide strategy and support for growing organizations. Crystal has a bachelor's in public relations, a master's in geography and planning, and an executive MBA. And so these 3 degrees have helped her with her knowledge and her habit of lifelong learning, which inform her work. An eclectic polymath, Crystal writes and speaks and teaches across a broad spectrum with laser precision. She uses this skill set to help her clients to grow theirs. So Crystal, can you please now, as our last and final entrepreneur in this panel, please speak on your experience and your expertise and experiences as being an entrepreneur.
Good morning, or it's not morning, good evening. Thanks for having me on the panel. Congratulations to all the entrepreneurs that are on the panel as well. With Crystal Clear Communications, I take a lot of leeway in shifting. I'm very key with seeing where the opportunity is, and if it's time to make a shift, do that. And I think sometimes that can be a two-edged sword, right? Sometimes you need to stay the course, and then other times it's time to shift. And I think for anybody that's interested in moving into entrepreneurship, they want to make sure that they have a couple of different skill sets, right? Hopefully those things will come out as we're talking on the panel. One of those key skill sets is to be very flexible, right? To be open to working with diverse populations, and networking. And that is something that African American communities are sorely lacking. And so it oftentimes keeps us in one space when we could literally be in a lot of different spaces. Not that you need to grow really fast. I am a slow growth proponent. I am not interested in 10xing myself because I can't have 10 of me. I don't know nobody that would want 10 of me. I'm just saying. But when it comes time to look at your business, you want to look at why it is you're doing that work. We don't necessarily do our work for the money. We do our work so we can have the life that we desire to live and be able to do the things, if it's a ministry or a calling or caring for our families or having the time to take care of an aging parent or things like that. Those should sometimes, not sometimes, always be, your impetus for why you want to go out and do stuff. Similar to my other panel members here, I work as unto the Lord. So when I say I'm aggressive problem solver, if you ask me to help you get a problem taken care of, it's going to be taken care of, or at least there'll be several strategies available. Now, one thing I can do is make somebody do the things that they need to do. I have no problem offering consultation, some implementation, but I'm a real stickler on managing my time. So I find it very hard to allow others to monopolize it. And I also try not to monopolize people's time. So just a few things about me. I love working with others, but I get to pick who those others are. So I'm not an employee. I don't have to work with people. I will fire a client in a minute. That doesn't bother me at all. So those are just a few things about me. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Crystal. Thank you. And with that, I will turn it back over to our wonderful host, Lacey.
Right. Thank you so much, panelists, for all your for giving your background, especially to you, Sora Lexi, for reading everyone's bio. We definitely have amazing panelists here. So I'm so excited to get started with our questions for the panelists. But before I do that, I want to just make sure I recognize the amazing organizations that put this program together for you all. I want to make sure I shout out the National Association Negro Business and Professional Women's Club Incorporated, the Adult and Youth Clubs of Maumee Bay and Toledo Clubs, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Top Ladies of Distinction, National Sorority of Phi Delta Kappa Incorporated, the Beta Gamma chapter, and last but certainly not least, the YWCA of Northwest Ohio. These organizations came together to put on this amazing, effective entrepreneurial and leadership program. So I just wanted to make sure we recognize those amazing organizations before we get started questioning our panelists. As you can see, they are a wealth of knowledge and wisdom, and I'm super excited to get started with asking them questions. So with that being said, well, let's go ahead and get started. Give me 1 second here, I apologize.
I have a question for everyone, if it's okay for me to ask.
Please, Ms. Lexi, go ahead.
I wanted to know, what are the biggest challenges that everyone's faced? And this is for all of you. When you decided to step out there on your own, basically, and become your own boss, what was the largest challenge that you faced? Because somebody might be like, I would love to do, my own thing, and I'm tired of being, somebody else's employee and making money for them, and they might want to do it for themselves. But what are the largest challenges that you face? Because that's something I really wanted to kind of know. And I'm sure other people might want to too, maybe.
Thank you, Alexi. This is Clyde. I can answer that question for myself as far as, some of the, biggest challenges. I think the biggest challenge sometimes is uncertainty. We can hold ourselves back because we're afraid that what if this doesn't work? But the flip side of that question is, what if it does work? My life, my family's life could be changed exponentially. So don't let fear force you to not act. So if you have something in your mind, in your spirit, then of course you want to do your due diligence, research, but don't expect everything to be perfect before you start. You have to launch out into the deep. You have to get out there, get out of your comfort zone and make the first move. And a lot of times you learn as you go. So you just have to have confidence and competence in yourself and your abilities to make it happen. There are going to be some hard times. There are going to be some hills, some valleys. But if you know that this is what you're supposed to do, then I think you owe it to yourself to say, let's go out and make it happen. And we'll deal with those challenges in those circumstances as they come. Have faith and move within that faith to make it happen.
Along those lines, go ahead, Tyra.
I agree with Kennard. The biggest thing is knowing that it's for you. Make sure that you're not saying, oh, they're doing it and now I'm gonna do it as well. Know your steps. And so that starts with that faith and test your own faith. When you say, okay, and trust. If it's of God, you will know it's of him because nobody else can bring it to you. And that's when you can say, okay, God, I know that you were carrying me. When they say that sand thing, I was walking and I looked back and it was one trace of footsteps. So at that time, when you take that deep breath and you say, okay, God, if this is me and you, because you may have to let go of friends, family, and all. As he said, it will be rough in the beginning, and it'll be rough in the middle and the end. You still have to keep that same stride and that faith of knowing this is for you and push through. Because if it's from him, he will provide the financial, the employees, the buildings, the all. I went from saying, I don't want to just an office to, and I'm not going to keep on me, just an office to a business office to now a campus. And so we all have to understand that he will provide if it's for you.
Along those lines, a question in the chat is, how did the COVID pandemic affect your business?
I would like to speak on that one because hairstylists were highly affected during the pandemic because we were closed. So a lot of people had the ability to work from home and still make a living. We were not allowed that. So when we came back, I worked every day to make up for what I lost. Then I flooded, lost my whole business. And so back to, what do you, how do you, stay diligent? Part of it is being organized. Number two is really, really, really engaging in your business and not stopping. If this is what you want to do, you cannot stop no matter what happens, no matter if it's a flood, no matter what it is, you got to keep on going. And within a year, we reopened. So.
Okay, I'm not going to talk all night, but I'll say this. And so it enhanced the company actually. We create programs yearly, and we also create programs on, again, we're not about the quality, we're about quality, not quantity. And so therefore it allowed us to yet create another program called Alternative to Learning. And so instead of the young ladies and young men being at home, they came to my campus with those computers with my licensed teachers and retired principals that actually work in my programs. And those parents were able to still go to work, and those young ladies and young men were able to actually still go to school in a school setting. We also were able to go into, we're now in 12 different daycares with the school age children, because the daycare workers, they don't go to school to teach. And so therefore I sent some staff in there pertaining with my mental health agency, as well as the academic piece, to go in and enhance those daycares as well. So it did well, again, with a lot of prayer. That's how COVID happened, because I could have said, okay, you know what, school's closed, we closed too. But I'm not a school. we are a company that provide positive program from ages K through 36 years of age, because we do drug prevention as well.
All right. It looks like there's another question in the chat. And it looks like it's directed toward you, Ms. Crystal. They want to know, what criteria do you use to determine whether or not to fire a client? And do any of the other panelists, do you all have to, let go of clients? If so, they would like your input on that as well.
Great question. What's up, Christy? Hey. So when I partner to do work and I do nonprofit and business development strategy, I also offer implementation in the writing, speaking, and teaching areas. So any business writing, so annual reports, newsletters, social media posts, teaching, planning, professional development trainings for staff in the daycare industries, a couple other industries I do those things in. And then speaking, I do a lot of public speaking at activities like this, or with Toastmasters or other things. I do a lot of public speaking training when people say, oh, I need to do this presentation, but I don't necessarily know how to cut out my ums, my ahs, my ands, things of that nature. At the end of the day, I am a non-traditional educator who teaches non-traditional topics in non-traditional settings. The issue with adult education is somebody has to want to learn, and they have to want to do that work. So I don't pick clients who are in the startup phase. I work with growth strategy people. So the people that are moving this way are the people that I tend to work well with, because they have some track record already. But the one issue is, are you going to do what you said you were going to do? I don't, like I said, I'm a stickler with the calendar, and I don't disrespect your time or your money. I will not allow that to happen for me. So if we're in a partnership and things are not progressing, then this is not the partnership for me to be in. I will definitely make an effort to find them someone else who can serve them. Sometimes it may be a situational thing, like with COVID, where it's not going to happen right now. No harm, no foul. But at the end of the day, if it's not mutually beneficial for everyone, I'm not an employee. I don't hire employees. I like to work with independent contractors, because the management of others, that's for a special population of people. It's not me. I like to know people say they can do what they're doing and they can do it. And so those things are really important to me, to make sure that we're equally yoked, and you have a goal. I was brought onto the team to help you achieve that goal. But if you're constantly doing things to not achieve that goal and not listening to wise counsel, then it's time to make a switch.
Okay. Does anyone else have any experience with having to let go of clients at all?
I'll chime in on that one. There's been times often that I've had to let go of clients, mainly because they don't have the same vision that I have for my business. I consider Kennard's Child Development Center a development center. I mean, we all have our own definitions of what a development center is. We all have our own definitions. I have my definition of what a development center is, and I have my own definition of what a daycare center is. I'm developing your child and you as a whole, developing child's building character and strengthening the family. So the adult as well as the child. Maybe not following the vision of the facility, such as we're on a schedule, meaning like we don't come here and sleep all day. Some parents think that, okay, she stayed up all night and she's tired, but this is not the facility where they can come and sleep all day. There's nap time, but we're on a schedule. The children are in class, they're learning. There's things that they're doing throughout the day. We're getting them ready for kindergarten. And when they go to attend kindergarten, they're not sleeping all day. Maybe we don't see eye to eye on, let's say when breakfast is not served. If breakfast is over at 9:15, 9:16, 9:17, 9:18, breakfast is over. So it's over. If the restaurant closes at 6, you're not getting in at 6, but if you get in at 5:58, they're going to still serve you. So if you get here at 9:14, you will still be served breakfast. But at 9:16, it's too late. When lunch is over, lunch is over. When breakfast is over, breakfast is over. Well, can they just, no, they can't. So sometimes we don't see eye to eye on things. And if they can't line up with my vision that I have for my facility, then it comes a time where, I give everything. When I have given everything within me, it has to be everything within me where I've tried everything. Then at that point, it's time for me to ask you to leave, because it disturbs me, my peace. And it just disturbs me. And a lot of times they can drop their child off and go on about their day, but I'm still disturbed. So just if a family is not lining up with the vision that I have for the facility. So yes, I have definitely had to disenroll. I guess it wouldn't be fire. I've had to disenroll families. Yes.
Okay. Well, I have a question, and it's kind of a little personal to myself. Being that I'm 24, I'm still finding myself in my career. I'm very young. Baby in my career. So I guess earlier I heard you all mention a lot about knowing your purpose, knowing that this is what you're supposed to do, knowing that God, has your back. So my question would be, how do you know that you are in your purpose? How do I know that, this is what God really wants me to be doing, that this is, and even though this is my passion, how do I know that I can turn this into a form of stable income to where I can let go of, what's comfortable and branch out and start that business?
I'll chime in on that one.
Okay.
I'm sorry. As a hairstylist, a lot of times we start off commission, booth rent, things of that nature. It takes a lot to step out and open up your own business, because again, the organization of a hairstylist is to work behind a chair, get their money in their pocket, and they leave. So a lot of people don't find out the back work, the back office part of it. They're just working just to work. Also, as a hairstylist, we don't have a retirement. So you have to think about that. After a while, you have to figure out, why you're doing this. And, we have families, we have husbands and wives, and my purpose is my family. My purpose is my children. My purpose is to make something better of myself than the typical hairstylist. And so that's why I kind of stepped out and did a little bit more than just hair, because it's more to it. So.
Lacey, I'd like to chime in a little bit on that one as well. Sometimes you may have a gift, a talent, a skill set, and have a passion for it. And sometimes that may not be enough. So you have to be willing to take risks, willing to put it on the line. After all, what do you have to lose? My wife and I decided to go into business when we were actually just starting our family. And there's been times when, things get tight and you'd be like, wow, do I need to go out and get a job? But we stayed true. We call it our breakthrough, when God just opens up a window or opens up a door that no one can, kind of shut in our face. But we've had these breakthrough moments when maybe there was a little bit of doubt, or a way to look back and say, maybe we should do this. Then that door opens up and it's that confirmation or that confidence boost or that contract that comes in and be like, no, we staying here. This is where we are and this is where we're going. So another thing that there's a lot of people with talent. There's a lot of athletes that can probably even play basketball better than LeBron James or Stephen Curry. But do they have the discipline to work? Do they have the tenacity to, keep their head when things get heated. So there's a lot to being a business owner. I think when I mentor or even consult folks who want to go into business for themselves, a lot of people say, well, I don't want to work for anybody else. I want to work for myself. And I say, well, if that's the reason why you want to become an entrepreneur and own a business, then you need to get out while you're ahead before you even start. Because when you're a leader, you work for everyone. Every client is your boss. Every employee, you're to be accountable for everyone. So if you have a heart for people, then you make sure that those families that are counting on you to grow and to bring home, a earning or a career, that's in your hands as well. So find what you want to do. If you're good at something, then and there's a market for it, exploit that. Exploit it till you can't exploit it anymore. And what I mean by that is go after, educate yourself, become good, become a master at what it is that you're purposeful. And then that's how you create. I think I know the Bible says your gift will make room for you. So if you have a gift and you're presenting that to the world, then that gift will make room for you. That's all I had to say about that.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Lacey.
Hey.
Entrepreneurial leadership, it actually means develop the ability in employees to self-generate, self-reflect, and self-correct in their workplace. And so before you become an entrepreneur, or even in leadership, you have to work for somebody. Because as an entrepreneur and you generate your employees, I call my employees my partners, okay? And be able to have the ability to hire and fire, because you yourself, you have to know your vision, they ask for the vision statement, your vision and your mission and things like that. You yourself have to create that. You cannot create that without mental experience. Okay, so mental experience is, and I'll give you an example of myself again, me being in that medical field, and I see in the chat, someone is asking about the Caucasians and us, us Black folks being in the business. So when I was in the medical field, being a physician assistant, and then I walk into a room and they say I didn't ask for a nurse, and I clearly have on a white coat. I did not know at that time, because I would leave. At that time, I was around your age or so. So I would leave crying, upset, mad, like I'm tired of them treating me like, I didn't know at that time I was being developed to sit in meetings and sit in places and doors that I myself be like, why am I going in here? I'm not an educator, but as Kennard said, you find yourself in places that you didn't even ask for or want to be in, but being obedient, he's already conditioned you for those places. So it's for you to say, okay, Lord, show me, because he is your sculptor. You're continuously daily being that, he's continually daily sculpting you. You're his clay. Right? So wake up every day saying, Lord, show me. It'll come.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. So there was another question. There was a question.
Yes, we have a couple questions in the chat. The first one, do you find challenges unique to being a Black business owner that others, white business owners, do not experience? And I'll say both of them so you can deal with them. The other one is, how do you deal with that question? Can I get a discount, especially from family and friends?
I'll chime in on the discount one. How do I want to say it?
Say
it. Okay, at first, there's no discount. Because for one, I could not discount my services because I have staff to pay, and I can't begin to pay my staff enough to watch folks' kids all day. I just can't. And so, I just right off the back say, this is the price, this is my rate, And if Canards is not for you, then it's not, then it's not for you. I can possibly refer you some places that might be a little bit cheaper. For one, with childcare, our rates are based off of stars. You have a 1 through 5 star. So with me being a 5-star facility, I worked hard to get to a 5-star facility. That means I have degree teachers, and there's just a certain amount that I'm going to pay them and a certain amount that I just will not go below. So I typically don't offer a discount. However, Canards Child Development Center has been open 18 years. I am at a point where I can offer scholarship discount. But first starting out, because as a business owner, when you're housing, you're taking care of basically 2 households. So I have overhead at 2 households, meaning my business and our home. So at first, no, a discount was not an option. But I will say now, being 18 years in, I'm not strictly here right now for the finances. I am working because I enjoy what I do. He wants me to stay home and help him with his paperwork, but that's that's not what I'm gonna do. You do. You have asked
That
me in
was
the past.
years
Years
ago.
ago, he's asked me.
That was years ago.
But years ago, like, no, I'm not doing that. That's not my vision or my passion. That's yours.
But that's when you was also stressed out too.
I was
at your
stressed out
spot.
more. I was
So
stressed out
I was
more.
offering her a way out.
Yes. So he was offering me a way out of things that was not my area of interest. So like I said, you get to a point, if you're a business like my own, where you get to, well, you can offer discounts here and there. I want to be able to provide quality care for children. I love the kids, and I'm at a point in the business where I can offer a scholarship occasionally, but also I make it very well known that when your time and your season is up for my scholarship, I need to offer it to somebody else. It's been 2-3 years, your time is up. So it's not a 5-year thing. If God's calling me to give them that 5-year scholarship, I've watched folks' kids for free, just because, to help them get on their feet, or just because I wanted to. But the scholarship is typically not the whole. God lets me know when their time is up. And then if I need to offer it to somebody else in need, I let them know, it's time to move on. And this is your fee, this is your rate. And I need to be able to be a blessing to somebody else.
I would like to address that question about the differences between African American business owners, as I see it, and other business owners. One very important thing for anybody going into business is an affinity group, right? You have to find like-minded people, go together and work as a coordinated team. And we tend to struggle with that because things have been taken from us, or we don't necessarily have people that we can trust. And so it's like, don't tell nobody about what I'm doing. Well, that's counterproductive to growth and marketing strategies, right? If you want to sell a product, but you don't want nobody to know what you do, you're not in a position to have a business. It may be a hobby. It may be a ministry that you do when you have some additional time, but it is not a business. You cannot be in business, have overhead, plan all of your things out, and then not have any way to bring in what you need to cover all of those things. It just doesn't work that way. And that planning piece, I'm not going to say that there's a lot of minority businesses that don't plan, but we're highly emotional as a people. You could be mad at me if you would like, not individually, but as a people, so our emotional intelligence levels are at varying rates. And we also make affinities with the wrong people, right? We stay connected to those dudes and friends that we had back in the day that love the discount or want to go over there and do the other thing. And then we make excuses for, this is the process I do to make my living. And I think that's very different. We go out and network and have a good time and leave with no business being done. We think that when people network, other people on golf courses that they're literally just playing golf. They're absolutely not playing golf. They're making major deals. They came with a strategy and they left with the things that they wanted. We just go, oh, I'm going to a party. It's going to be fun. You missed the boat. And so that, I think that networking thing is the biggest thing that I've seen as a different or a disparity between majority and minority populations. They seem to network far better and with more intention than we do.
Another question. What is the first step you should take to secure financial assistance in starting a business?
I would say research. Again, along with me being disobedient. So while I was volunteering going into the schools, Ms. Quinn can attest to that, going into the schools and making sure that things were being done and things like that, and turn around, walking back out. Besides, and again, with me coming back in 99 and coaching to 07, so I knew I was watching then what was needed in the schools, because you're more than a coach when you're a coach. And so paying attention then, and so when paying attention and then making a difference. And so I'll say knowing what it is that's needed, actually providing more than that need, and then they'll pay for that. Do over and beyond. It's so many out that's alike that they want to give you what they give everyone else. And by right, they should. You can't get upset with that. But be so well and be so good. And I would tell that to our sons, because they're Black baseball players and they traveled all over. So they were only Black on the field. Again, he's 28. So he was only Black back then. And we stayed in Sylvania. So therefore, as my husband, and we would tell him, he knew every position on the field. And so therefore we made them have to play him. And so it's the same way when in business, you make them have to need you. And so you create whatever it is you feel is for you so well that each year you get better at it. So they have to have you.
I think when you talk about starting a business, we like to buy the shingle first and don't have the plan. So we'll go buy the building. I'm gonna get this house. I'm gonna go get out a loan. You don't have a way to pay the loan back. You need to bootstrap. If you need to stay at work until you build up enough, or how about even make a plan and know what your numbers are before you go and buy a sign and put it on your car, that could be helpful. We tend to go for all the things that make it look like we have a business that costs money, and then we start a business in the negative. Start a business paying bills first. You start a business by paying for the things you need, and you don't need a shingle. And we live in the 21st century. If Zoom and Corona didn't teach us anything else, place-based things are switching. And so that metaverse, or whatever they call that thing, where people are gonna be in there online doing XYZ, those things are income producing with zero startup costs. Like Zoom is $149 a year. You don't have to have a webinar or a in-person meeting or whatever the deal is. Rent a place, buy some food, and then it's a snow day and don't nobody come. It's all sunk costs. You'll never get it back. And we love the sunk costs because we like it to look a certain way.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And so that's the biggest thing. When I know Lacey she's thinking over there. So it's the thing. So again, you still have to work for somebody. And so I would literally wait on those buses to come to my building with my scrubs on, because I work third shift. Until the business proved, God had already said it, but until, I guess, again, I saw the business proving to me that, okay, Lord, this is you. Then I was able to let go. And then it grew. I literally stayed in my profession for 5 more years before I said, okay, I'm gonna step out and go ahead and have this company. That's called humble. Just be okay with it.
If you're in a position to implement a growth strategy, though, that's very different. When you're past the infancy stage, you pass the go-go stage, which is toddler stage, and you're moving towards, we're moving in this trajectory. Now you have some wherewithal and you should have a business credit score. If your credit sucks and your business doesn't have anything that it owns or have a bank account or anything like that, you can't go to the bank and ask for anything because on your name alone, it's not happening. And you also need those numbers behind you. If you don't keep your taxes right, if you can't tell me what your numbers are, then we probably can't do business together, because not that you got to divulge things, but if I know that you don't know your numbers, then that means you're somewhat raggedy with money, and the bank don't want to hear that. But we also can leave from the bank space and go to the credit union space and attract a lot more money. I actually sit on the board of University of Toledo Federal Credit Union, and right now they are looking to give out loans. They are only loaning about 30% of their portfolio, and commercial loans come through this corporate thing. I have the link. If somebody wants that, I'll put my email in the chat and I'll send you that information. And you can go that route. A credit union financing, this is what we just did. A $12 million loan, interest only for 10 years and a balloon payment at the end. I'm sorry, did you say I can only pay interest and then refinance it in 8 years so I can get out of the balloon payment and go get another loan somewhere else? But if you don't do that research that Tyra talked about and you don't network with the right people, you're gonna go right to Fifth Third and pay 29% interest when you default because you wasn't ready for that much money that they told you could take out. The bank is not your friend.
Another question, how do you know when what you think is a business is really a lucrative hobby?
And can we direct that question to Ms. Tamiko? Did you have something? You have some comments? You've been kind of quiet, so I want to make sure that we get your perspective too.
Just enjoying everybody's perspective on what they're saying. But how do you know? Well, if it's really making a return for you. If it's not really doing anything for you, then it's just a lucrative hobby. But when you, okay, I'll put it like this. Going back to the hairstylist thing, we working behind a chair. You make your money. However, when I was deciding to open up my own business, we started out with one employee, one contractor. Now we have 9. So that went from just working for myself and making the little money that I ain't gonna say little, but making the money I was making for myself. Now I am doing pretty good. And so it's definitely, it's all of the above. It's a business, it's a lucrative hobby because I love what I do. I don't have to think about it. I was blessed with being able to do this. So it's both for me.
I would say, I'm sorry, Tamiko, were you done?
Nope, I'm done.
I would say for me, when I knew that it changed from a business to a lucrative hobby is when I changed the hours to being what I felt like working, what I wanted to work and what I want to work. When I first opened, I was open 7 days a week, 5 a.m. until 11:30 p.m. That's when it was a business for me. The business was open to make money. Now the business is open the hours when I want to work. I don't want to work on Saturdays and Sundays. I don't want to work before 8 a.m. and I don't want to work after 6 p.m. I enjoy being there. I can enjoy being at work Monday through Friday. If I had to stay 8 to 6, after 6 is no longer enjoyable to me. Before 8 is no longer enjoyable to me. On Saturdays and Sundays, I don't enjoy being there. So for me, it turned into, I would say for me, that's when it turned into a lucrative hobby. It also turned into a lucrative hobby instead of a business when let's say you have everything you want in the business and now you're just going to refresh it because you want the kids to have some new toys. So you have these magnets. And when it was a business, you had maybe the bare necessities at first starting out. Moving into more of a lucrative hobby, even in your personal life, your hobby might be shopping, your hobby might be going out to eat, whatever, massages, whatever your hobby might be. when I find myself buying the same toys, but just in a different color, like this is a lucrative hobby now because y'all don't need this. You know, it's something that I want you to have. So that's when I enjoy seeing them. Oh my goodness, we got new balls. We have a red ball now. It's the same ball. You just had a blue one last year, but it's the same ball. So when I get more enjoyment out of this new baby doll that they're gonna get, that's when I feel for me and my child care center, that's when it turned more into something I enjoy doing versus this is just my business and I'm just working. So that's when I noticed the change.
Okay, now looking at the time, we got about 10 minutes left. So if anyone has questions, we're gonna try to direct questions towards one of the panelists, just so we can get as many questions as we can by getting a wide variety of answers. So with that being said, I actually have a question for the Kennards. You all are married, but you're also business partners. How does that work when you all have disagreements? Do you leave business? Do you ever find it respectfully? I'm asking, do you ever find it affecting, home? How does it work being married, but also business partners?
Go ahead, go first, babe.
Well, we're in two totally different businesses.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I do childcare and he does
Everything else.
He does everything else. So there's no conflict.
Okay. So
there's no conflict because he worked at the facility when we first opened and I fired him.
Okay.
He didn't have a passion. There was no passion for him in the childcare center. So we're married people, but we run two totally different businesses. So there's no.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier you said, okay, I apologize. That's
that's still a good question. She fired me 3 times on 3 separate occasions when I worked for her. But then again, I created several other businesses under the Kennard Child Development Center umbrella that were very successful in their own right. But I mind my business, she minds her business, and as a family, we make sure we take care of each other. So it works, but I can't have her trying to be the boss at work and then trying to be the boss at home, which she kind of already is. So it's like I can't do that. But it works for us. But
we couldn't work together.
It would be bad.
Okay.
But I am gonna add one thing. The problems comes when I need things done and repaired at the daycare, and I want him to stop what he's doing for others to come and fix it immediately. That's where the problem comes.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'm not getting paid to do this.
The honeydew list just get longer and longer.
That's the only issue we have.
Okay.
Because I know he can do it. And then,
Yeah, she's blessed.
Okay, she's blessed. Okay. Okay, well, thank you. I apologize. Oops, but that's okay. We still got some good perspective there. So I would say to Ms. Smith, what would you say your biggest mistake has been as an entrepreneur? And what advice would you give so that you don't see people make those same mistakes?
I would say, and my directors tell me that too. So I would say the biggest mistake, but I've learned over the last 5 years not to do it. So I would say the biggest mistake is once you start knowing why God wake you up and you get into your business and understanding it and saying, okay, and then start saying, God, okay, Lord, this is from you. Then I don't want to hire people. I didn't even go out and solicit nobody else when my kids was selling candy for baseball and I always just gave them the money, that type of thing, right? And so he would bring the employees to you, okay? But then you see someone, and you say, you know what, you should go and apply. Let me go and get you could work for me. You could go apply, and it don't work out. Or you hire family and it don't work out. So I would always say, listen to the questions that you ask God before you decided to be obedient, because he'll always push it back on you. And so everybody I decided to hire, and again, I said I had to learn all the positions before I hire somebody for them. And when I step in as the owner into my HR position by saying they come and hire them or give them, and then they don't work out, it's because I stepped out of position that I was put in. And so I would say just be obedient and listen, because he'll guide. He'll guide. I just messed up again. I tried to hire somebody else. So I was no family, and listen to the and allow the people around you to do their job. And I'm by far a micromanager, but I will say, like Mrs. Kennard said, you know, okay, come on, let me give you a position or try to get you a job. Hers was saying, okay, the family got to go. I am saying, I want to, you know, give our Black people an opportunity. I'm a hire Black, that type of thing, right? And so I would say just be consistent on what you wrote down and what you want to do for your company and as being an entrepreneur and a leader, and stay there, because it'll push you back. I'm less one employee because I decided to go get them.
That makes sense. That makes sense, Miss Smith. Thank you. Okay, so Miss Taylor, I have a question for you. How do you make room to continue learning?
Oh, that's a good one for me. I'm a lifelong learner. I love school. I was a school nerd. I teach people how to graduate from college in my profession. I left the University of Toledo as an associate dean. So lifelong learning is like breathing to me. I approach my work as a teaching opportunity as well. My planning strategy takes place in the fourth quarter. I don't take any new clients in the fourth quarter. And for that quarter, I learn all the things and identify all the areas. I do my metrics, year over year growth or loss. It has been growth, thank God, since I launched live full time. And then I implement all of the things, or learn about all the things I want to implement for the new year. So in the fourth quarter, I do all of my planning, my strategizing, picking up new skills and new things, and then I implement them. But then at the end of the first quarter, I look back on the first quarter to learn what worked well, what I planned, and what didn't work. And then I shifted for the second quarter. So I made that beginning statement about being flexible. That's really a learning process, right? It's a constant, continuous improvement. But that means you have to ask yourself really hard questions like, is that the best use of my time? Do I really need to bring somebody on? Why am I still paying these individuals or this service? Things like that. But if you don't ever stop because you're always going and you super busy is not productive. So that's really the biggest thing, is learning when you need to scale or sit, one of those two things. So it's a constant requirement. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Okay, Ms. Miko, I have a question for you. I know that you being in the business of beauty, what would you say, how do you come up with new ideas for your business? I know sometimes when you see, you know, a hair salon is kind of, and I know you have something outside of that. When you have your hair salon, it's just kind of like you do hair and that's it. So how do you keep in mind to grow and to have new ideas?
Well, I think COVID, the quarantine gave us a great idea. One of them was to learn how to make money without doing hair, because there has to be more to it than just standing behind the chair. So that's where I started our hair company and working on a hair product line, because if something like that ever happens again, at least we'll still be able to generate some revenue. There's always new and exciting things in the hair industry. Social media has made it easier to find those things, as well as just coming up with finding better ways to do things faster, or do things more efficient, do things more healthier, new tools, new everything, new electronics. I always like to try new things like that. I think having new things like that like steamers and things that make your hair healthier, brings clients in because it's something that they never had before. So always trying to generate, even for Valentine's Day, if anybody wants to come by, we're going to have like special rose petal pedicures and milk bath pedicures, something that's healthy for your skin, but also makes you feel like luxurious. That's the type of salon we wanted to have here, is to have something that makes you feel like you're somewhere else other than just the typical salon that's in Toledo. So as long as we continue to stay along the top of the trends, we'll be all right.
Thank you so much, Ms. Tamiko. I think it's safe to say that we have so much talent and wisdom on this panel. So I personally want to thank you all for your perspectives and for your knowledge and your wisdom and sharing your experiences. I think we've all benefited from that. Now it's time, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Ms. Collins so she can close us out.
Good evening. Can you guys hear me? You hear me? Okay, I'm sorry. I was muted at first, and I'll make sure. Good evening, and I'd like to say thank you to everyone who participated this evening. The panelists, you was great. A lot of information. One of the things that came through from everyone was that you gotta listen to the man when he talks to you and he tells you, leading you and guiding you. So God has played a big part in many of our panelists. Also, some of the things that, just to recap, that we said that you got to be flexible. You know, Crystal's mentioned we got to be flexible. You have that networking out there. And one of the things that she said that was really excellent, slow growth. Don't rush to be big. Take slow steps, and make sure that you're doing what you really, truly want to do. And at an early age, as Mr. Kennard said, he started early, 5 years old. He started early, and he knew he wanted to have a service. His job was looking for a service. He wanted to do something for individuals. He wanted to give a service to people, which all of you are doing, is giving a service to people. So with all of that, we've received very good information. And I'm sure that each one of our panelists is there to assist you. If you have any other questions in the future, that you can look to them. I'd like to thank all of our friends that came on and supporting this program. And we just hope that everybody have a safe rest of the year and enjoy their lives. And if business is what you want, go for it. Thank you very much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our program today. Thank you so much for coming out. A special shout out to our organizations for putting this together. And of course, we have to extend another warm thank you to our amazing panelists. Thank you all so much. You guys have a great rest of your evening, and good night.
Good night.
Don't forget to fill out the survey.
Oh, fill out the survey, everyone. Sorry. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
It's in the chat, I think.
You guys did good. It was wonderful. Thank you all.